In this brief tutorial, we're going to go over some of the changes you may need to make to your website in terms of the administrator. For example, one of the questions that we receive quite frequently is, how do I change the administrator for my site? We currently have an administrator who is going to be giving up those responsibilities, and we have another person who's going to take their place. So how do we go from changing the administrative login so that the new member can take over and log in as administrator and have those privileges, and the old member is no longer able to do so. So let's cover that one first. What you'll need to do, and this works best if the current administrator is still actively able to log in and is still currently working as the administrator and can make these changes. Otherwise, it gets more complicated. So let's assume for now that the administrator is able to log into their own profile and make these changes. They will come in, log in as admin. It's important that they log in using the admin profile. That is the one with the user ID, admin. Sometimes administrators will have their own personal profile with their name, with their own user ID that they've created later. But what we're interested in now is that admin profile. And the reason that one is so important is that every site comes with a default administrator profile called admin. The user ID is admin, and it's all lowercase. And that is the only administrator profile that cannot be deleted, and it cannot be removed from the administrator group. That is, it'll always have administrator privileges. So it's important that the current administrator who owns that profile logs in as admin, and they can come into the site and they can edit their profile by clicking here. And when they get to their profile, it's pretty easy to change to a new person. The best way that we recommend is that they come in and change this email address field to the email address of the new administrator. And then what they can do is save the profile, obviously, after making that change. And they can change, if they have their name in here, their personal name as opposed to HOA space administrator, they can change that as well. But the one thing they have to do is change the email address to the new administrator's email. And then the new administrator can go to the website, they can come in here, and they can click on the forgot your user ID or password. And now, if they say, I forgot my password, and they type in admin, it will send a reset link to the email address that is on the admin profile. So that would be the new administrator who hasn't taken over yet. And at that point, that new member can then reset the password on the admin profile to whatever they want, assuming the email address was correct. So that allows the new administrator to take over that profile and change the password without anybody else. It doesn't require the old administrator to put in a password for them that they would then know. It allows the new administrator to set their own password. And then at that point, the new administrator can log in with the new password they just set as admin, and they can go ahead and edit the profile and change their name, the address, any other preferences they may like in that profile. Let me log back in here again, and we'll go over some of the other reasons that it's important to have control for that administrator profile. Another issue that kind of comes up with our websites from time to time is that you'll have an administrator who was the primary admin, the owner of the admin profile, but the community, the board, has decided that a different person is going to take over, and that person is no longer going to be responsible for the administrative duties of the website. And sometimes what happens is a person just leaves the community and they're not able to be contacted, and they are the administrator. So any of these cases, whether it's because the person just stopped communicating and left, or because the board wants them replaced and perhaps they are not happy with that decision, there are times when the current administrator is refusing to give up control of the website. And that presents a big problem, both for the community and for us. It's important, therefore, to have multiple administrators on the website. And this is something you probably want to do as soon as you set up your website. You may have one primary administrator that you give to the admin profile. So if we go in here, you'll see we have an admin profile, and then we've just got a demo user here who is not administrator. This admin profile is normally given to the person who sets up the trial website at first, and then later on the community may change it. So in the case of a dispute or an administrator who simply is not responding and you need to have administrative control, we are unable to verify here and make those changes based on an email. Please make me the administrator. Because we have no idea who that person is contacting us, or even if we could verify that they are who they are, we also need confirmation that they are authorized by the board to take over the website. It's easy if the website has contact information saying this person by this name with this email address is a board member or an officer of the HOA. That makes it easy for us because we can then verify that someone who contacts us from that email address is that person. And then we can make the change for you if necessary to put that email address on the administrator profile, or to make that member's profile an administrator so they can also log in as an administrator and then take over the admin profile. But it's much more complicated for us here to do it. So we really recommend that communities have multiple administrators on the website, so that at any time, if the primary administrator, the owner of this admin profile, decides they're not going to communicate and leaves the community essentially hanging where there's no administrator, then you will have other administrators on the site who can then come in and take over the website. So this is something that, you know, it's not commonly thought of when you first set up a site. Oh, we have an administrator, we're good to go. But these situations do occur, unfortunately, and it's much better if it can just be resolved with the old administrator. But we do realize that there are cases where they can become non-communicative for a variety of reasons, and in those cases, it's important to have backup administrators. So really, first thing when you're getting your site set up multiple administrators. And I'll show you how to do that. So let's say we have this demo user who is not the primary administrator, but it is just a normal user. I'm going to go in, I'm going to edit this profile. And again, this assumes you are logged in as the administrator right now. So you're doing this before there are any issues with the current administrator. And so here we have demo user profile. If I click on the member groups tab, you'll see there are a list of the member groups that are available, and this member is not a member of any of these groups. It's as easy as checking the administrator box and saving the profile. When I do that, this user is now an administrator. This user can go in and make any changes they want to the website. So it's important to have more than one member of that administrator group. Another way you can do that is go into admin, and on this page, you're going to find the group manager icon. And when you go into the group manager, you'll see the administrator group, and you'll click on the members button. And that lets us view the list of current members in that group. And currently the demo user is in that group now because I just added him. And if I click on edit up here at the top, this will just give me a list of all the members in the community. There are only 2 members right now, and they're both in this group, so they're listed. But normally this would list all the members that are registered on the website that have a profile, and they would have unchecked boxes if they are not administrators. And you would just go in and check all the boxes of the ones you want to be administrators and click save. And that's a different way of adding them to the group. You can edit their profile individually, like I just showed you before, or if you have multiple, this is often easier. Just come in, edit the administrator group, check all the boxes of those members you want to be in that group, and save. I'm going to remove this member for now because that's originally not the setup for the demo user. So that's how you can pretty quickly make some changes as to who are the administrators of your community, of your website. And again, it's really important to have more than one administrator in case one member is either no longer allowed to be the administrator, or no longer wants to be the administrator, or is no longer able to be the administrator. So in a nutshell, that is how you make people administrators, how you change the administrator, and a number of reasons why you really want to have multiple administrators on your website. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and thank you very much for watching.